So today I'm gonna share some tips with you on how you can fix some patterns in your objection handling phase when you're doing sales calls B2B, so that you can see fast progress with it, and that you don't keep repeating the same mistakes. So I'm currently working on this with a sales mentor, and what I want to share is that one of the assignments I have is like really figuring out the patterns in my calls. For example, when I'm talking with prospects and I've done several calls and there's like several patterns that keep recurring in those objection handling phase or in the call in general, a lot of it is about becoming aware of the specific patterns, the specific phrases that your prospects say, the specific objections that come up. And if you do 5 or 10 calls, you should already have an idea of what that is. And a lot of it is just making time to become aware of that, do the work in terms of like contemplation, like how can we now fix those patterns. If they say, I need time to think about it, or if they say, I like this about your offer, but I don't like that about your offer, maybe you can fix the offer as well, right? But in terms of like objections specifically, it's about figuring out what objections keep popping up and how you can move past that. For me personally, one thing I noticed when I do come closer to the actual close, so the objection handling phase, oftentimes when I do my price pitch, they will give me like, I kind of like your offer, but they don't feel that sure, like they don't like really feel convinced. And so I do have a guarantee in my offer, but normally you don't want to expose that too quickly because then you're kind of like giving power away, right? But I never got to the point where I could actually introduce my guarantee. So now we are moving the guarantee to the price pitch. And like this is a crutch, right? But it is a temporary solution to make progress. And now we can see how will they react and what are the next things that will pop up. Like what are the next type of objections that will pop up? Where will the next bottleneck be, right? Then you can figure out those patterns again, and then you can figure out again a way to solve those and continually make progress. And by the fact that you are becoming aware of the patterns that are happening in your objection handling phase, it's a very sometimes like plug and play solution of like, these are the problems, let's think about a solution, right? And it's a very practical, tactical way to make progress. And what I used to do for a while is just like thinking about, well, how can I change the way I communicate and how can I make them feel better and things like that. And that does help, but it's more a long-term approach and it's maybe not always as efficient for sales specifically, right? I think if you really tackle the objection handling phase, then you're really working on exactly what's holding them back in order to close them, right? Because that's the goal, right? So maybe now you're thinking, well, if you're a business owner, you're probably thinking, but I don't want to necessarily close them. I want to get in the clients that are the right clients, and if they're not the right clients, then I don't need them, right? And that's a limited way of thinking. It makes sense, but it's a limited way of thinking because sure, you don't want to get the bad prospects over the line, but that doesn't mean that you can't change the way you communicate or that you can't change certain things about your pitch that you can then like adjust. So not only you can just get them in, but you're also getting them in the right way. They're now agreeing with your offer, or they're now actually seeing the value in what you offer them, right? So that way you can really not just make them go along with your offer, but you can also make them see the value in it so that you're actually attracting good clients for your business, right? So don't give up too quickly as well. It's not necessarily because you're doing objection handling that you're just, that doesn't mean that you have commission breath necessarily, right? It doesn't mean that you are going to pull in everyone that has a credit card and a breathing. You still need to look for the right clients. You still need to challenge them on their mindset if they do have like issues, right? So it's always a process, but you just need to figure it out, and you just need to be willing to continuously work on that, because it's not going to be fixed in one day. It's not going to be fixed in 1 week. It's probably not even going to be fixed in 1 or 2 months, right? Being good at sales, becoming better at sales, is like you need multiple years realistically to get to a level where you're actually really proficient with it. So have some patience, but at the same time, find a way that you can really be efficient in the way you work and the way you practice your sales. So this is what I would say. Yeah, let me know, guys, if you have any ideas or if you have any comments. Feel free to check out my next video. I will see you guys soon. I hope you have a nice day. Cheers.